Hi there, welcome to my views and news. How many TDF members are going to be demobilized and disarmed in the next 2 months? Because this week, Tigray, federal government, Afghan Union observers all met in Mekelle. What did they agree on? Secondly, how many Sudanese groups are still being trained in Eritrea? Just a few minutes ago, a Sudanese news source shared details of 7 armed groups still being trained in Eritrea. Thirdly, Somaliland. Today is a big day for Somaliland. Big day in terms of celebrations there. Why is 18th of May important for Somaliland? Firstly, was Tigray, which has a standing army of around 270,000 TDF members armed with small weapons, still not disarmed, demobilized, and reintegrated. DDR is part of the Pretoria deal signed in November 2022. Withdrawal of non-ENDF forces from Tigray is also part of the deal, but dispute is which area is part of Tigray, because Amhara region claims that Raya and Western Zone, Meravolkai, Sag, they are not parts of Tigray. Tigray claims these are part of Tigray. Same is like with Tigray border, different positions by Tigray and Eritrean governments. This week, Tigray military commanders, TPLF officials, federal government officials, and Afghan Union observers met in Mekelle. Talks were held about a disarmament, demobilization of Tigray fighters. What did they agree? By the way, we are seeing announcement of support for this disarmament. Tigray has been complaining that lack of funds was the reason behind the inability to demobilize, disarm more Tigray. Tigray just disarmed around 50,000 fighters so far. Around 50,000, I think. 50,000 twice. I think 100,000 have been disarmed, if I'm not wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, but according to the information which we have received from Mekelle, more TDF members are going to be disarmed, demobilized in the next 2 months. How many? Around 75,000. So Tigray now has total army of around 275,000. Out of that, 75,000 will be disarmed in the next 2 months, June and July. Still after July, Tigray would have around 200,000 TDF members, which will be who will be disarmed gradually. This is what is being confirmed by some people who were part of discussions. But obviously, National Rehabilitation Commission says that all 270,000 will be disarmed gradually. How long will it take? That remains to be seen. So before total disarmament, Tigray wants Raya back. It wants Volkai Tumara Sagade back. It wants Eritrean military to withdraw from Tigray controlled territories, which were Tigray controlled. Eritrea said those areas are part of Eritrea, not part of Tigray. Tigray was in occupation of those territories. So there's a dispute about the border areas. Now, we know that Tadasevare said a few days ago that by the end of first week of June, issue of Raya will be settled. By the end of first week of July, issue of Slamti and the Western Zone will be solved. It means that these members of TDF will be disarmed, demobilized 75,000 after the issue of Volgai Sag has been solved. Let's see what happens. Tigray is disarming, demobilizing its fighters, but gradually. While government is clear, it said there will be just one military, one force in Ethiopia. There will be Ethiopian National Defense Force. There won't be any militias, any special forces, just police, prison police, and ENDF. Though in Amhara, in Oromia, militias are there. Government-backed, government-trained, government-paid militias are working in both zones. Will militias be allowed to operate in Tigray too? If it is allowed, obviously TDF members can turn into militias. So It's a little complex situation. We'll have to wait to see how these TDF members will end up. Will they end up as civilians? Will they end up as members of police, members of militia, members of prison police? That will be clear incoming. Second view is Eritrea still training Sudanese armed fighters. War in Sudan since April last year. War spread from Darfur to Khartoum, Bari, Umdurman, then Jazeera state, parts of Giddarf too, reportedly. In parts of Giddarf, there were clashes as well. Rapid support forces uh, try to move towards the Ethiopian border, Eritrean border. Eritrea is an ally of General Abdul Burhan. Ethiopia seems to be supportive of RSF, though no clear signs of Ethiopia giving any tangible support to RSF. Eritrea reportedly letting its soil to be used for training of Sudanese armed groups. We reported that months ago. Then Eritrea told some of these camps to be closed reportedly. We're waiting to see some updates, fresh updates from the area. And a Sudanese news source just a few minutes ago shared details of 7 Sudanese groups which are still being trained in Eritrea. Sudan Liberation Front, Eastern Sudan Liberation Front is one of these groups. United Popular Front for Liberation and Justice, Bija National Congress, and some other groups. In total, 7 Sudanese groups are being trained in Eritrea. Military training is ongoing there. Why Eritrea wants to stop rapid support forces from reaching close to its border? It is backing Bija tribe, other tribes, and Sudanese military trainings still ongoing. Bija, a tribe elder, Nazir Sayyid Tariq, met with Al Burhan in Port Sudan this week. Bija tribe, backed by Eritrea, meeting Al Burhan. Links very clear here that Burhan, Bija, Eritrea, all on one page. The fight is being trained in Eritrea, making preparations in case of RSF's advance deep into Giddarf state toward the Eritrean border, Ethiopian. Lastly, we are Somaliland, where celebrations ongoing. Today is 18th of May. Somaliland celebrates 18th of May as its day of restoration of independence. It was 18th of May 1991 when Somaliland announced its independence. It claims that it was June 1960 when it became independent, but later it joined the federation, is Somalia, I think, and later in 1991 it announced its restoration of independence. Somalia rejected that announcement, but Somaliland claims to be an independent country. It has been struggling to gain international recognition. No country except Taiwan, which itself lacks recognition, recognized Somaliland as a country. US, EU, UN, African Union, IGAD, no one recognized Somaliland as a country. Celebrations underway in Somaliland to celebrate 18th of May. Some official programs organized too. Musavi Abdi was seen at a ceremony addressing people, saying that Somaliland will continue. It will continue its efforts for recognition, no matter how long it takes. Somaliland is a reality now. Even if Ethiopia-Somaliland MOU is not implemented, is there any likelihood of Somaliland joining Somalia? No. Somalilanders, whether opposition or government, they are on one page when it comes to recognition. Yes, there are issues, tribal issues, political issues. When it comes to recognition, when it comes recognition by UN, EU, US, Ethiopia, they're on one page, most of them. Unionists are not in majority in Somaliland. There are some groups in support of joining Somalia. That is why it's a challenge for Somalia to rejoin with Somaliland. Uh, let's see what happens. The MOU with Ethiopia is crucial. If it is implemented, if Ethiopia recognized Somaliland as a country, it would be a big diplomatic win for Somaliland, because after Ethiopia, you could see others recognize Somaliland as a country. That's why Ethiopia is being told by Somalia that Somalia would not let that happen, no matter what the cost is, no matter if it has to suspend war against Al Shabaab. It wants to stop the MOU between Somaliland and Ethiopia. Thank you.